Hello folks, and welcome back to another video where we will be taking on a rather hard task, I feel, as we find ourselves in Bundesliga 3, where we will be taking over rot-weiss or ESSEN, who have had quite a colourful history, as so it seems. They were the first German team to appear in the European Cup back in 1955-56 season, after winning the previous German League 1 in 54-55. Also, the city of Essen is one of four to have two clubs to have won the DFB Cup as well, which is fantastic, alongside Munich, Leipzig and Vienna. However, when the Bundesliga was first formed, I think it was back in 62, 63, 64, 65 season, I think it was. They were apparently absent, and that was all due to the name. From what I'm reading, it is Weiss, but the German league wanted to pronounce it another way and they weren't having it, so I'm not sure what really happened, but they were absent from the first season. However, in the following season, 1966 season, they did appear. Unfortunately, they only appeared for the one season and they finished rock bottom. They did appear in the Bundesliga for a further 6 seasons, but due to financial issues, they ended up being in the 5th tier of German football, which I think is the regional leagues. And that was as recent as 2010-2011 season. So it's not that long ago. They managed to find themselves back in Liga 3, where we will be taking on the task of putting them back at the top of German football. An impossible task, you may think. And I'm beginning to come round to the idea that it could be a very long time before that happens. But first of all, we are going to have to get them out of Bundesliga 3 to 2, and then from 2 to the Bundesliga before we even think about winning the league. But that is going to be the ultimate aim of this video, so we will stop the video once that happens. So we could end up being here for about 10 seasons, maybe more, depending on how well we do, or how well we are going, or how close we are to winning this league, as a lot of things can happen over a certain length of time in Football Manager, as we well know. So let's first of all jump into this Essen side and let's see what we've got to play with. They were founded in 1907. Fierce rivals are Schalke. They have got a total of 21 competition wins. They did win the German top flight for the first time in 1955 and the Pokal in 1953. So they have won the top trophies in the German football. There is no transfer budget, clearly, and a very low weekly budget as well, which I will change that to euros when we get into the game. This looks like their favoured formation, which isn't too bad, and there's only a couple of loan obligations, that's 2 coming in. So first of all, we'll have a look at the squad and see what we have actually got, and from looking at that doesn't look too bad. And age of the players, if we go the other way around, they have got 5 players 30 and above. A 37-year-old left back, left winger, I'm guessing he is. I'm assuming he is there as backup, about 37 years old. Some of them stats look pretty decent, actually, to be honest. A 35-year-old defender and DM with Klaus Gasula. Again, looks fantastic. Probably too good for this division, but we'll see what we've got. Plastek as well, a 35-year-old striker. 15 finishing, wow. His pace is starting to drop off a little bit, but apart from the finishing, he's got good determination still, so still knocking around a bit. And at 35 years old, that's not too bad. Schultz, 32-year-old defender. Again, pretty decent. Mentals and physicals look okay. We've got Arslan as well, a cam player. Wow, they look phenomenal, actually. That's pretty good at 32 years old. We'll probably soon see these drop, but I think for the time being, we could definitely use him. So let's flip it and have a look at the youngest players. So we've got a couple on loan. So in defender on loan, Frankie Bubari. Yeah, looks decent. Could be a good backup if we haven't got anybody decent, I guess. 22-year-old, I'm assuming Kosovo. Yes. Dion Berisha, right winger. Nice. I'm not sure whether we will be playing wingers, but he looks pretty decent, actually, to be fair. Vinand, 23-year-old goalkeeper. Okay, somebody we definitely can work with. I'm not sure if he's the only goalkeeper, actually, to be honest. Let's have a quick look. We do have another one, Jakob Goltz. He's 26 years old. he could be our number one goalkeeper, actually. So we've got two very, very good goalkeepers. I'm not too worried about that. We've got Abuz, Marvin. Okay, he's good as well. Actually, he's reasonably quick. Can cross the ball. He's got good dribbling. Got flair, which I'm not too bothered too much about. What about highest potential players? Abuz, though. So he's our left winger. So he's probably our best player. A diamond might suit us better than the formation, the 4-3-3, I think it was. Average age of 26, which isn't too bad at all. Finances, so they've got 2 million in the bank, and I did say I was going to change it, so let's change that now. And there we have, so 66,000 and 2.3 in the bank. That's not too bad. I mean, we have got 100% of the transfer revenue as well, so that's pretty good if we do decide to let anybody go. Any debts? None. So that's pretty good as well, considering they had financial difficulties from 2010, which landed them in the 5th tier. But to be back here with no debt, reasonably happy with that. Staffing, if we get rid of that, I don't know why that comes up. Again, pretty decent once more. 10th, 13-1 to win the league. 1860 Munich, favourites as you probably would expect. So let's have a look at see what sort of formation we can come up with this squad, and we'll come straight back. In the following window, we just managed to lose one player, and that was Jimmy Kaparos, Greek defensive midfielder or defender. A pretty good player to lose, to be fair, but 37,000 euros to Empoli doesn't seem an awful lot, but we had to release some players on wages because somehow we're high on wages all of a sudden, so we've had to readjust. But he was one of the only casualty for this window, as we tried to offload some other players. They just weren't leaving, but I didn't want to sign another contract to stay with us. He's gone to Empoli, and then he's gone out on loan as well, I think, to Inakis as well. So he'll probably get his game time there. He didn't play at all for us, which is unfortunate. But he's had a game for Empoli already, and I think they've seen enough to let him go on loan to develop. We could have really done with him, I feel. Our early signing of the window was Jonah Husek, defensive midfielder to replace the one that we have lost, and at 21 years old, £2,000 a week from Dortmund, second team. Doesn't seem like a bad shout, actually, to be fair. He's got quite good potential on him, so we'll look to see how he develops, and he's both footed as well, which is pretty handy. 4 games for us already, as we have locked him in for this season. So the formation we are adopting for this first season is just a straightforward 4-3-3, 1 DM, 2 wide players, and we've locked 2 players in. Husek, I want to see his development shine. Fingers crossed he will do, but we'll see how it goes. And then we got Winand in goal, 23 years old. Again, high potential. Again, we'll see how he goes. He's got some pretty good stats, actually. Good aerial reach, handling and kicking's pretty good. He's got good passing. Reflexes is outstanding as well. And some of his physicals aren't too bad. He's not the quickest, but he can only develop at 23 years old. Still a long way to go. We've played some games already. We only had a couple of friendlies because the season started straight away in August, where we won our first game 1-0. We did get knocked out in the Pokal Cup first round to Magdeburg 1-0 at home as well, unfortunately. And that was the 29th minute winner there. We lost to Saarbrücken away, but beat Regensburg and Erzberger as well. We drew with them, and then we beat Wiesbaden 3-1 at home. So 3 wins in the league and a draw, which is a great start so far. We're currently lying in 3rd position. It looks like 2 teams go up. I'm not sure what the ruling is, but we're 3 points off the leaders with a game in hand, so we could find ourselves top of the table. So let's jump into our first season, and let's see how well our players develop and if we can gain that all-important automatic promotion. Remarkably, after a media prediction of mid-table this season, we found ourselves in a playoff final with Magdeburg of Bundesliga 2 for a place in Bundesliga 2. We finished in 3rd position, which meant we had to enter this playoffs. We go ahead, but Magdeburg do gain 1 goal back, which is rather unfortunate. But first game at home, but we have to wait until later on in the game before we steal the ball, and it is Muscle that comes in and nets it in for a 2-1 win. So we've all to play for in the second leg. It is Magdeburg that go ahead early in this second leg, putting the aggregate score back to 2-2, level on terms. and everything in their favour with them obviously playing at home. But we do fight back with Hoffman on that right hand side, Kaiser, and then playing into Arslan, who scores from outside the area. Wonderful goal, top echelons. But it didn't last too long, as we were ahead at that point on aggregate. But Magdeburg come back again with a goal from the corner through the goalkeeper's hands. But it is a penalty in the last minute that sends us through. A 2-2 draw away from home gives us a 4-3 aggregate score over Magdeburg, who did put us out of the Pokal Cup, don't forget, early stages, as we score a goal with 10 minutes to go through a penalty after twice coming back from behind to send this Essen crowd into ecstasy and into Bundesliga 2. But it's a fantastic effort from the lads, finishing in third position, 9 points off second place at 1860 Munich, and a further 2 points behind Ulm, who finished top of the table. I think we were a top at one point, but 13 draws throughout the season really hindered us, and we should have done a lot better. In fact, I think we should have gone on to win the league, to be fair, but the draws and probably the formation probably didn't help us. However, it did help us maintain top finish and a promotion to Bundesliga 2 of Martinovic getting 24 goals, one off winning the Golden Boot from Rossa of Ulm, who got 25. Our squad, 25 goals then from Martinovic, who's absolutely superb in front of goal. 25 in 39 games, which is fantastic. Broom, 10 assists, 11 for Arslan as well. Our two wingers, I'm not quite sure whether we will go wingers next season. I'm more tempted to go towards a diamond formation. Arslan is 32 years old. I don't think there's another right winger or left winger that can play there, I guess, but there's a lot of players that are getting their potential up. Husak's up to a 3-star now, 4 and 3, not bad for him, and our goalkeeper, 23 years old, is up to a 3-star now as well, conceding just 47 in 38 games with 11 clean sheets, which is pretty decent. So going into next season, where we will be in Bundesliga 2, the finances, well, we have been given 233,000 euros, where our bank balance is just below $1 million now, and we have got a big boost in the wage budget as well, which is appreciative, because we were over budget last season, but that's kind of nice. At least we got some money to spend, and hopefully we can survive our first season in the Bundesliga 2, and if all goes to plan, we might actually get promotion straight into Bundesliga, but we shall see, as we have still got a lot of work to do with this squad. So just a couple of first teamers leaving, the plus 30-year-olds, as Kasula, the 36 years old now, we decided to cash in on him. He's gone to Elversberg for 100,000, and Michael Schultz as well, I think he's 33 defender, he's gone to Armenia for 57. So that brought in an extra 155k added to the budget, which meant we could spend that little bit extra. From Saarbrücken for 28,000, I think it was, we're bringing Elijah Kron, defensive midfielder, all midfielder, looks pretty decent actually, 23 years old. He does have a little bit of potential. He can definitely grow into the role or be as a backup. He's got a goal for us already, apparently. 5 games played and a goal. Fantastic stuff. And some of them stats look really nice. We spend a whopping 175,000 to bring in Tom Biskov from Munich's second team. He's going to be one of our midfielders this season. He can actually play in cam position as well. In fact, he's quite accomplished in the defensive midfield role as well. But we've only got a few stats under double digits, but apart from that, a lot of greens in there, lots of potential. 21 years old. If he can be with us for a while, that'd be fantastic, but we can definitely make some money on him if the need arises. On a free, we're bringing a right back. I realised we hadn't any right backs at all in the side, and there wasn't really much out there. So on a free transfer, bringing Joshua Bitter. Alonso can play there, and Husak also. Remember him, we had him in the DM position. I think we are going to be locking him in as a central defender now, actually, because we have got some better DMs. But Bitter comes in as either a backup or a first team choice at the right back. Also on a free, we bring in a midfielder, Kilkenny, to hopefully play alongside Biskov or Arslan or Kron even. There'll be a nice little triangle going on in the middle. Again, a lot of stats that are really nice, and he's improving all the time, and he's only 26 years old, with bags of potential still. And finally, on a free, we're bringing another striker, finishing 14, reasonably quick, and he's got some pedigree behind him as well, and he's been scoring goals as well, although he's yet to get off the mark for us so far. So we have changed the formation ever so slightly. Instead of going at 2 up front, we've put 1 out on wing, because we have still got some decent left wingers, so in order to utilise them and not waste them, we can pick them out there on that left hand side. So if we pick our best 11, it looks like this. It's not that bad. Kilkenny, Biscoff and Kron, the 3 that I was talking about in midfield, superb. Bitter does come into the right hand side and Capone up front. We scored a lot of goals in the friendlies until we played Kaiserslautern in the Bundesliga 2 first game, and we lost that 2-0. We did beat Cologne though 5-0, which was a fantastic result. Then we lost to Heidenheim 3-1 in the Pokal Cup first round, which is again another disappointment. Rather concentrate on the league at this stage. We beat St. Pauli at home 2-0. We lost to Paderborn 2-1. Despite equalising in the 73rd, we conceded the winner 4 minutes later, and we beat Ulm, who won Liga 3. We beat them 3-1, which is fantastic. We were at home though, so it looks like we are picking points up at home as opposed to away, but we need to improve that. As long as we can survive, that'd be fantastic. Wow, they're expecting us to go straight back down, quite convincingly straight back down actually. Same with Ulm. It's only 1860 Munich with a 33-1 that are not near us at all, but I'm hoping that we will finish round about mid-table. Would be nice, or top half be even better, but we just beat second predicted Cologne 5-0. There's still a lot of work to do, but that does give us hope. And with that, we are lying 5th in the table, 9 points, 6 points off the leaders Kiel. So let's jump into season 2 and let's see if we can perform miracles again, either survive or do we go and get promoted again. Some notable wins in the division was one against Frankfurt, which was a fantastic result away from home, winning 2-1 with a Capone scoring both. Dresden was another game which we won away from home, another great result there. And a very dominant display against Paderborn. It gives us a 2-0 victory at home going into the final games of the season, where we beat Hanover 4-1 and Karlsruhe 1-0 as well, going into the final game, just requiring a point to get us automatic promotion. But it was 2 goals in the last 2 minutes that broke the hearts of the Essen players and fans, losing 2-0 on the final day of the season, which gave us a 4th place finish. Unbelievably, even a point might have got us into promotion. In fact, second spot. I think we were in second spot for quite a while, and then the final game of the season just kind of messed things up for us. We did a lot better than Nuremberg and Kaiserslautern. Just that extra point goal difference, we would have won as well. Not that far behind Kiel and winning the league as well, but 10 losses were our Achilles heel this season, and of course final day loss breaking our hearts. And we did get knocked out by Heidenheim in the first round of the competition as well in the Pokal Cup. So as you can see, all the way we were in second spot, and then the last game of the season from second to 4th. That's pretty good in our first season in Bundesliga 2. Can we go and do it again, and this time go ahead and win it? But we will have to contend with teams dropping down from the top flight. Our squad, however, how did we do? 15 goals and 3 for Capone. Brune with 11 and 7, not many assists though on that left hand side. Arslan 9 and 6, he is now 33 years old. Kilkenny with 11 assists, which is fantastic. 8 assists for Biscoff on that right hand side. In fact, nothing else really stands out. Where's our other striker, Martinovic? Only 3 from 7 starts. Again, very disappointing, but he is 30 as well, so we'll probably be looking to move him along as well as we look to improve, as we'll probably hang on for Capone to lead the way yet again. And if we can muscle in some more players, we might go 2 up front this time round, as having that left winger didn't really do that much for us, although he was a second highest goal scorer for us this season. So getting into next season, have the board been kind to us, and wow, okay, they've given us 2.5 million. That is phenomenal, and we've got 100% of the transfer budget as well, and not much in the way of wages, so we'll probably have to slide that across, but that is pretty good. We managed to offload a couple of players, namely Martinovic. He's gone to Lecce for €675,000. Hanover pick up Obuz, the left winger. We're not using wingers now. 115,000. Mitsuta, I think he was a cam into his 30s also, 52,000. We also lose a couple of others very cheaply as well. So 850,000 added to the kitty. Contracts were renewed. Not much left over, but we still managed to spend a whopping €1.5 million. Our first signing for on a free, so we didn't spend any money apart from wages, £5,000 a week. Yannick Eduardo, striker. Stats look like they're going up as well, actually. Good determination. He can finish and grow first touch. He's got acceleration and pace, which is fantastic. 6'3", and he can put the ball in the net because he scored 8 in 5 league games already. From Stuttgart, second team, 60,000. We bring in Lauren Ulrich, a cam player. He looks pretty good as well. 22 years old, definitely one for the future. From Bayern, second team, 50,000. Maximilian Schuboa, a right back. And he can also play central defence as well, which is going to be pretty handy. He's going to be our starting right back for this season, as we will need players with quite a lot of calibre as well. He's played a few games for the Bayern second team as well, so that's going to come handy. From Firth for 300,000, we bring in Max Rosenfelder, a centre-back, another good option to have at the back. Stats-wise, look really good. He can't take a free kick, however. His finishing is not brilliant. But other than that, his stats look really good and quite promising as well. 6'1", 24 years old. And our biggest signing from Bologna, €1.1 million. Martin Vitek, I was quite surprised he wanted to come. He was quite happy to come here. We are paying 18 grand a week though, so he is by far our biggest earner, but we need to start bringing quality players in if we can get them in. And like I say, I was quite surprised he wanted to come in. 24 years old. Definitely on board with the project we're having here. So we are adopting a 4-3-3 diamond formation, hence why we're offloaded the wingers. If we pick our best 11, all our signings are in here. We're still a bit shy at the back, however, but I'm pretty confident with the players that we've got in. So far so good. We've only lost the one game, and good news, we're through to the second round of the Pokal. Can't believe it. We won our first round game 5-0, so the first time in 3 attempts. We have started well in the Bundesliga too, with Hertha being battered 6-2. We beat Cologne. We lost to Brunswick though, however. It was away from home. Despite taking a lead, I guess, in that one. Yeah, we were 1-0 up. So in the space of about 14 minutes, we kind of lost our way a little bit. And Darmstadt, we beat 1-0. Eduardo getting the goal in the 73rd minute. And the season preview has us at 33-1 now to win the league. Now, we came close last season. I'm expecting to do so again as we beat Darmstadt. We've got Bochum and Schalke to deal with, but I'm fairly confident we can finish up there or roundabouts again. So let's jump into Season 3 and see what the lads can muster. After a fine start to Season 3, we had some more fantastic results, including a 6-4 win away at Bochum, and ending the year with a 4-0 battering of Munster at home. But we had another fantastic result, 3 games on the bounce, scoring 15 goals, including the 5-2 victory over Hertha Berlin. At one point, we seemed to be running away with the league until Hanover pegged us back. But the next 10 games see us on an unbeaten run, including a 4-2 victory over Frankfurt, which enabled us to win the league as champions, 15 points clear, and put us into Bundesliga for next season. Eduardo, second best player in the league. He also gets the golden boot for this season as well. Brum with 11 assists. I'm not quite sure where he played. Cam position, left back position, I'm not quite sure. Eduardo, 9 man of the match awards. Biscoff, 2 goals from free kicks. Fantastic stuff. And we only get as far as the 3rd round in the Pokal Cup, losing to Hoffenheim. We lost 3-2 after extra time away from home, so very unfortunate not to get any further. 33-1 then for Eduardo in up front, which is phenomenal for the 22-year-old, but can he do it in the Bundesliga? Capone, who's now 30, 16-4. 12-10 for Ulrich as well in the cam position, which is fantastic. So our front 3 done remarkably well. It's that 50, 61 goals between them. 10 assists there for Kilkenny with 8 goals. 9 for Kron with 4 goals. 11 for Biscoff, 11 assists there for Broom as well. And goals, he only conceded 42 and 34. with 11 clean sheets. That's pretty good. But it does look like we may have to go goalkeeper hunting for the Bundesliga, because I do fear for our back line going into next season. Though Vitek did pretty well with 2 goals. Husek did play with 22 off the bench, so he's done pretty well as well, the 24-year-old now. I wonder how much money they're going to give us at this time around. I'm hoping it's going to be a fair amount. Only 1 million. We'll have contract renewals as well, and we have got a hefty about £80,000 a week in wages as well. So we will have to sell in order to increase the budget. But we have got 15 million in the bank. So hopefully after next season, if we survive, we should get some league money to bolster our position financially and compete in the transfer window. But I think next season, first season back in the Bundesliga, we are going to have to survive as best we can. Right, only one player leaving the club really from the first team is Jakob Goltz, the goalkeeper. He's gone to West Ham for €75,000. From Cracovia for 350,000, we bring in a goalkeeper. Because we love Goltz, we needed another one, and a first choice goalkeeper we've gone for, 27-year-old Alvarez. Pretty decent, easily our best goalkeeper out of him and Felix, and will hopefully help us out for the first season at least anyway, until we build up our finances. Next up, from Leverkusen for 400,000, we bring in Artem Stepanov, a striker. Looks pretty decent actually. He scored 2 goals in 4 games for us already. Not in the league so far, but he's got high potential. Stats wise, looks pretty decent. And 6'4" up top. It's going to be amazing for us. And from Portugal, MRT for 75,000. Bring in Jon Lopez, a left back, 18 years old. Bags of potential. Hopefully he will be with us for the long term. We're only locking in a couple of players, Stepanov and Lopez. If we bring our best 11 in, Stepanov comes out, but Lopez does come in, but I want him to play as many games as we can. And I have to say, we're into the next round of the Pokal Cup yet again. We win our first round game 8-0, and then we started the Bundesliga against Kaiserslautern at home with a 3-0 thumping, with Kilkenny, Biscoff and an own goal settling that game. Hoffenheim we lose again till we just can't seem to beat them at all, but we'll beat Union Berlin 3-1 with Eduardo and Vitek scoring the goals there. We're lying 6th in the Bundesliga. A welcome return after being missing for so long. But the question is, can we stay there? And if we have a look at our prediction, I find that really harsh that we are predicted to go straight back down. I think we're going to surprise a few people this season. As long as we stay in and survive, that's all I'm interested in this first season. So let's jump into season 4 and see if we can survive the onslaught. It's been a harsh return back to the big town as we win only our 4th game leading up to the new year, as we suffered defeats to Bayern Munich, although we were not humiliated, Wolfsburg, HSV and many more. But the turn of the year saw us turn a corner, including this 3-2 victory away at Leverkusen. And we finally got the better of Heidenheim finally with a 1-0 home victory. Quickly followed by a 3-0 home victory against Stuttgart as well. We continued to impress with a 3-0 win over Augsburg and a madness over Leipzig at home, which did see us finish mid-table, just shy of a European spot actually, which is absolutely amazing. Call this first season luck, I don't know. We've done really well. We weren't looking so great to the first half of the season, but the second half we really picked up. Winning 15 games in the end, 15 losses. We do end up with a plus goal difference, which is always great, and we're so far ahead of the relegation zone, which is another great feat as well, with Eduardo getting second highest goal scorer in the league and joint top player of the match awards as well. But Bayern Munich stormed the league yet again, and it's going to take something to knock them off their perch, I feel. Competition wise though, we did lose to Leverkusen however in the second round of the Pokal, and you can see our journey as we were precariously near the bottom, 14th, 13th, but finally we did end up mid-table, which was fantastic. I'm really happy with that in our first season, which should bring in a little bit of cash as well. Stepanov, 21-year-old striker, 12-5, and he's looking pretty good now, the Ukraine. some of them stats look pretty amazing. And Eduardo as well, 23 years old, 21 goals and 2 assists in total. And then once again, he looks pretty stacked as well. Ulrich in the cam position, 5 and 2, 12 assists there for Biscoff, 3 goals there for Vitic in the defence. A couple of assists from Alonso, Kilkenny, and our goalkeeper, Alvarez, our 27-year-old, 49 and 36, which I think we can be very thankful for, that he has done his job. And as you can see, a couple of youngsters as well, including Lopez, has gone up quite a fair bit, giving him the game time. So he'll be our left back, as we have got a couple of more youngsters that can play in midfield and striker positions with quite a lot of potential, which we will need to incorporate at some point. Hasenburn has had a lot of interest, but the striker is going to be remaining with us until he gets some game time, hopefully, although I'm a little bit worried about his finishing in the Bundesliga. That might not be enough to give him the game time, but you definitely get some in the friendlies. And also we have Montes as well, again another striker, but he can also play DM or centre back. Actually, he's quite well rounded down the centre of the park. He's got a better finishing, probably more likely to start ahead at top. I mean, do we see him as a striker? I think we do, potentially. Tackling wise, it's only 12. Teamwork's not too bad, decision making's okay, anticipation, yeah, I think more or less he'll be a striker in that role, or could be a very tenacious midfielder. So going into next season, we do have to improve, and thankfully in Germany we don't have any restrictions on squad size, because at the minute we only have a squad size of 23 with the average age of 25. So going into next season, we do need a bit of cash. And we've been given 14 million, which is quite outstanding, actually. And wow, we've doubled our wage budget. Oh, that's brilliant. And also anybody in the development squad as well that we can move in. So we'll have a look at our second string, which doesn't seem to have that many, to be honest. But our under-19s do have quite a bit, including Burick, a 16-year-old promising midfielder. Again, some of them stats look pretty decent as well, though. Although they're badging him up as a centre-back at 5'10", probably not. DM's probably his best position, ball-winning midfielder. But yeah, a lot of potential yet again. So we do have some youngsters with a lot. We'll just see if we can get them in. A lot of them 17, 18 years old now, so we can move them into the first squad. But more importantly, we've got some money to spend, so let's go and do it. Starting with the outs, and we lost our star striker. There was a €2.5 million release clause. I didn't spot it. Brentford did. Eduardo's gone, our young striker. So yes, so that had to be added to the budget. Not complaining, but I would have liked a lot more money than 2.5 million. It just seems such a bargain. We also lose Lucas Broom. He's gone to Brushveg for 2 million. We also lose Krilic to Kravina for 63,000, and Shaboa, the right back, has gone for 1.2 million to Hanover. 5.7 million added to the budget, which was quite healthy to begin with anyway. With contracts, etc., we still managed to spend about 25 million euros. For 5 million euros, we're bringing Jonathan Jose Bergart to play in cam position. He's going to be battling out of Ulrich, who's already a good player anyway. But 19-year-old Jonathan, he does look the part, and I think it's a perfect upgrade for this young side that we are trying to build. From Nürnberg, for 6.5 million, we bring on Tino Kusanovic, striker, to replace Eduardo. And again, I think he looks phenomenal as well. Cracking finishing and first touch. I mean, that's superb. Physicals look brilliant, and mentals complement each other as well. 21 years old, another young striker, can play alongside Stepanov as well. So the pair of them should come clutch this season, given the right service. We spent 4.2 million from Leipzig, Angelo Bruckner, a right back. We definitely needed an upgrade, and I think we have got that. Alonso can play there as well, but he'll be just as a backup, although there was a lot of interest in him. But Bruckner, with quite good stats actually, easily jumps into that position. From FC20, for 8 million, we bring in Kevin Eschenbacher, a centre back. 20 years old, bags of potential. Physicals look amazing. Mentals to go with it. Definitely a lot of potential as well. He can play alongside Vitic, Hansen. We have got a very strong back line now, as it all depends who plays where. And finally, for 2 million from Paderborn, we bring in Mattes Hansen, DM. It felt like we needed another one. Kron's pretty good on his own, but we've got nobody really to replace him if he gets injured. And Hansen can jump straight in as our number 1 DM for this season with Kron as backup. So sticking with the same formation, and if we pick our best 11, Kosanovic comes in, Bergott comes in, Hansen, Bruckner, Eschenbacher, all our signings jump straight into the side, which is how you would expect the side to be picked. I'm pretty happy with that. And as you can see, we've got a lot of goals being scored, shared between our strikers and Bergott in the cam roll. 8 goals already. Phenomenal. And we've won every game so far. 10-1 smashing of Erkenford in the first round of the Pokal. 10-1. That's crazy. Then we've won 3 matches on the bounce in the Bundesliga. HSV 4-1, 3-2 against Union Berlin, and Leverkusen 2-0 away from home. We have got Dusseldorf in the next round of the Pokal, and would you just look at that, Essen are sitting top of the Bundesliga. For how long? I've got no idea. Take a picture of this now, because this is season 5 and we've made it to the top. Bayern Munich already dropping points, but that was against Leipzig, and they have beaten Frankfurt and Wolfsburg as well. But we're doing pretty well ourselves. So 3 for 3. We'll see how long that lasts. But I'd be very disappointed if from this position we don't finish in a top 10 again and hopefully scrape into a European spot. That would be amazing. And because of that, our predictions are 3rd from bottom, 350 now to win the league, although we did finish mid-table last season. So we've already beaten Union Berlin 100-1. We have beaten Leverkusen, who are 50-1, and HSV 200-1. So all the teams we've beaten, they're above us. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get there again. So let's jump into season 5 and let's see if we can cause a stir again. After a fine start to the season, we carried that on against Kaiserslautern, smashing them 4-0. And we even drew with Bayern Munich, going ahead to lead 2-0 after 18 minutes before being pulled back with 2 goals in 4 minutes in the second half. Heidenheim seems to be the team to beat at the moment, inflicting our 3rd defeat before the turn of the year. But that didn't deter us from beating Mönchengladbach 3-1 at home. And Mainz 2-0 to give us some hope near the top of the table. And an excellent 3-2 victory over Frankfurt towards the end of the season should see us in good stead. And I have to say, we finished a remarkable 4th position and a Champions League spot as well. Losing 9 games overall, which is pretty good in our 2nd season. We thought we might have got our 1st season luck, but it runs into season 2. It must be the good signings that we've had. 17 wins, 59 points. 1 behind Dortmund, who finished in 3rd, and some way off Bayern Munich and Leipzig, may I add. However, we are fighting for a European spot now, and that's all I required this season, really. It's top half and some sort of European football next season, and as it happens, we may have clinched Champions League, despite not having a player in any of the player stats. The Pokal Cup, we got knocked out by Leipzig in the quarterfinals 2-1. We beat Leverkusen 2-0 in the 3rd round. The 2nd round we beat Dusseldorf 2-1. I think that was it. And we beat Eckernford 10-1, as you may recall. The final being won by Leipzig, who we lost to. They beat Schalke. Well done to them. Of Bundesliga 2 still. So looking at our squad, Stepanov, 20 goals and 8. 18 and 5 there, Kusanovic. 17 and 6 for Bergott. So our front 3 have done it yet again. Biskov, 5 and 8. Fantastic. Eschenbacher as well, 4 and 1. 3 and 1 for Jurek. Kilkenny, 8 assists. 7 for Bruckner as well. And where's our left back? Okay, we've lost our left back. And that's because Lopez, the 20-year-old, has joined Bournemouth. What on earth is going on here? 17 games for us. He was playing at 7.17, and then they must have activated a release clause, which I wasn't aware of. 65 million euros. Wow, unless it's a board thing and that they couldn't say no to. That's disappointing. It really is. We bring him in from MRT in Portugal. Does really well in his first season. Second season, he gets going, and then, wow, 65 million though. So, yeah, we do lose a promising left back. 2 youngsters that we brought in from the youth team. Did get a bit of game time, not too much. So, getting into next season now, we need to obviously replace our left back and improve a little bit more. And we have been given 83 million. Now, I wonder whether part of that's to do with the money from Lopez. And we've almost doubled our wage budget for the week as well. So we should be able to bring in some quality players and hopefully tackle European football for next season in the Champions League. And maybe challenge Bayern maybe. But we shall see. Not much in the way of going out. However, we do bring in some new players. We had 80 odd million to spend, and we are damn sure we were going to spend it as well. Amidou Doumbouya, he comes in as a central defender, upgrades to the back line, and I think we definitely do need it as well. We just need to cut out the silly goals now. 15 million euros, and he looks superb as well, actually. Physicals and mentals look amazing. From Salento for 13.5 million, we're bringing Salvatore Porro, central midfielder, can also play cam and forward if need be. Again, some of these stats look really good, and some of them are improving all the time as well. He'll be battling it out with Biscoff, Hansen in the middle of the park. From Brianza for 7.25, we bring in David Botisagi. Left back, because we lost Lopez, we just needed more players in, and because we have like an unlimited amount of that we can have in the squad, we may as well bring in some really good players that can slot straight in. 24 years old, quite a lot of stats that are in the greens, and a lot of 15s at concentration, natural fitness, he's pretty quick, he's got good marking technique, good first touch, and he can cross the ball as well, so that's going to be quite handy. From Red Star for 7 million, we bring in another goalkeeper. We needed an upgrade on Alvarez as we lost our third choice at the time now. We're bringing Dimitri Stefanovic. Again, another solid goalkeeper, 6 foot. And apparently, media description is a wonder kid. He's 19 years old, and them stats look pretty good. Look at the decision-making, determination, punching tendency. Okay, as long as you get the ball out of the box, don't care. Agility and balance. It complements quite a lot of the other ones as well. And he's both-footed as well, which is quite handy. From Stuttgart, second team for 8 million, we bring in a striker. Now, this one is one for the future. He's currently at... I'm not sure where he's at. He's on loan to HSV for 2 years, amounting up to 2.5 million, which is quite nice. He's played 3 games, a goal already. Just hopefully he will develop. But he's got a cracking finishing, first touch. Physicals look nice. 20 years old, and as we've already got a couple of strikers already after the 2 years, we're going to have him back, and hopefully he'll slot straight in. Fulham for 25 million, we're bringing Rafael Carocci, a forward, ready-made forward actually. Physicals look pretty good, acceleration and pace is nice. The only downside is the jumping reach, but he's at 5'11". As long as he can do the rest, I don't really mind. He's got good finishing on him, it's pretty strong, and again, both footed as well. And from Pisa for 6 million, we bring in a cam player, midfield or DM, quite versatile, both footed once again. 26-year-old Bilal Kanous. We had some spare money left over, and again, I just wanted more players in that position. So the side looking like this now. We are not locking anybody in at the moment, but all our new signings do go in. Again, our back line just seems a little bit off. I think Vitic's dropped off a little bit, but that could be down to Doumbouya, who is slightly better, I think. But other than that, our side looks pretty solid and ready to go this season. We battered Duren in the first round of the Pokal 7-1, which is always nice to see. Paderborn we beat 2-0. Union Berlin 2-1, and then the biggest scalp of them all is a 1-0 victory over Bayern Munich, which is amazing. And of course, we have got the Champions League this season, so our league form could drop off once we start playing that, as we have PSG, Besiktas, Villarreal, Marseille, Nice, Celtic, Arsenal and Juventus. Yeah, I don't think we'll qualify, but if we do, that'd be amazing. Because currently we are lying 4th in the table, 3 for 3. Granted, the goals aren't all there. Leipzig are just ahead of us. It's all goal difference. Wolfsburg, Leverkusen as well. And Bayern Munich are, 5 points adrift of us already, which is pretty good. In fact, we're actually joint top, just realised. The Champions League, we are predicted outside of the qualifying to the knockout rounds. 29th. I think we could surprise a few, and we've drawn third in the next round of the Pokal. So let's have a look at what our predictions are looking like for this season. Wow, okay, 10th, 100 to 1 now. So let's jump into I think it's our 6th season now. And let's see if we can get any closer to the top 3 and see if we can improve on what we did last season. Again, after another promising start to the season, we lose at home to Leipzig and then away to Cologne. But eventually we do win a game, the first one in 7, which kind of put a damper on things, but it's a win all the same. And that spurred a few things as we perform a demolition on Heidenheim 6-1 away from home. But Bayern Munich do a number on us at 7-0 winners, which put us firmly in our place. But results started to go our way from March, including a 3-0 victory over Frankfurt, a 5-0 victory over Fürth, and we even beat Dortmund away from home at 1-0, which is a superb result. And that landed us again in 4th position, 3 points ahead of Wolfsburg and a further 5 away from Dortmund. We're just lacking behind Leipzig, Stuttgart and Bayern Munich. We've pulled it right back, only 7 points adrift from them. After that heavy defeat to them 7-0, we lost to Leipzig twice, which didn't help matters. And they only finished a point ahead of us. So we could have potentially finished in 2nd spot, which Stuttgart got. Karachi hit 23 and 6, 20 and 5 for Kosanovic, with Porro weighing in with 11 and 17, Bergot as well, 10 and 7. So our front line, which is pretty young, looks really, really good as well. Harold, who's away out on loan, he was at Stuttgart, I think he was, 7 and 2, which is pretty good. Stepanov, 6 and 1, 16 assists here for Biskov, which is brilliant. Nothing from our wing backs, maybe. Vitek looks like he's dropped off one hell of a lot though. 21 games he's played, however, with Einsenbacher 1 and 2. We've got Stefanovic, our goalkeeper, only conceding 41 and 42, 16 clean sheets. That's pretty good going as well. So it looks like we're going to have to still improve our back line, as we seem to be slacking off a fair bit as our front line is coming clutch. Especially how young they are as well. And yeah, I think our back line is starting to get a little bit older. Maybe that's what the problem is. Ulrich as well, he's still only 26, however. He did play 11 off the bench, which is nice. So getting into next season, I'm expecting a little bit more money. And well, maybe the same amount of money, who knows. We did finish in 4th position, and we got a bit more money from the wins in the Champions League as well. So let's have a look. Okay, not as much, but 55 million all the same. So we should be able to bring in some quality defenders now. And well, even if it's 1 or 2 players, because our front line and midfield, I think we're okay there. It's just our back line that just seems to be dwindling. Vitek, I'm very disappointed with, I have to say. But he is 28 years old now. Probably into his prime, but he just doesn't seem as good as the rest of them. So I just don't know. So there's just a few players that are leaving the club. Vitek, who we spoke about, losing a little bit of his ratings and what have you, seem to have been dropping off a bit. We let go of him to Damak in Saudi Arabia for up to 15 million euros. We also lose Alonso for 2 million. Kilkenny has also gone the midfielder for up to 1.9 to Union Berlin, and Rosenfelder as well to Alves for 425,000. 90 million added to the budget. Contracts were renewed and 60 million plus spent. First up from Rennes for 19 million, we're bringing Claudio Amadio, a right back. Plenty of potential. He looks really good actually, and some of his stats look amazing, including his physicals. There's only the jumping reach, which I'm guessing he can't head the ball, not particularly, but his mentals look really good as well, and I think a superb addition to the side on that right hand side. From Sporting for 15 million, we bring in Liao Reeks, centre back, who we are going to be locking in. Again, bags of potential, 21 years old. We're bringing in the younger players now, as we want to try and build our back line maybe a year or two before we can start challenging for the, well, we might even win the league with these youngsters, but not just yet, I don't think. But he comes in to play alongside Dumboya at the back. From FLA for 18 million, we're bringing Nildo, a Brazilian DM. Again, same as Liao in the last player. 20 years old, bags of potential, and I'm hoping he'll grow into this position where he will be ahead of Hansen, I think, but he can also play in midfield and cam, which is going to be handy for us. And finally, from Marseille, for 9 million, we're bringing Mohamed Lekum, a DM or midfielder, 20 years old. He'll be our replacement for Biscoff in the midfield, and again, he looks pretty stacked as well. So we are going to be locking a few players in, including the two at the back and Nildo. We're not locking in Lacombe, unfortunately, because we still have Biscoff, who is pretty good in his own right. But these three youngsters, I want to try and give them the game time so they can develop, and hopefully come next season they will be up there or thereabouts. And we've not done too particularly bad, I don't think. Beat Nottingham in the first round 4-1, so it's not the 10-0 or the 7-1s like previous seasons, but we drew with Augsburg 1-1. Leipzig we beat 2-1, which is a really good result, and then Union Berlin 3-2. The Champions League, we've got Young Boys, Celtic, Bayern Munich, Lazio, Dinamo, Brighton, Man City and Barcelona. I'm reckoning we can scrape 2 or 3 wins out of here. Maybe we may or may not qualify once again, but we have got a hard task ahead of us. We're currently lying in 3rd position with them 2 wins and a draw. Bayern Munich is off to a slow start again, having lost a game to Stuttgart, who are top of the table at the moment. We are predicted 29th, so where we finished last season, they're predicting us to finish there again, with Stuttgart just ahead of us. So if we have a look at where we are predicted to finish in the league, that's more important, at 5th. Wow, we've jumped over a couple of seasons from near the bottom to the top now almost, and we're just behind Stuttgart, not far behind, with Dortmund, Leipzig and Bayern Munich, who are only now 1 to 3. Still yet to see one of our players in the Dream 11. So let's jump into season 7, I think it is, and let's see if we can make any inroads. We had a good few games at the start of the season, then we all went to pot, a little bit of a few losses and draws, but this one came out of nowhere. That ended up being the theme right up to February, where we got another big win, a 5-0 win over St. Pauli. Then 3 losses on the bounce, including this one against Leverkusen, disrupted matters when we needed stability. But we did the double over Dortmund, scoring a further 4 goals, which put us back on track. And this one was our 7th win after 9 games towards the end of the season, which we made a remarkable 2nd place finish this season. Some way off Bayern Munich, however, they were just relentless, and no sooner were we close to them last season, they just sped ahead, and 25 points ahead of us this season. But we do finish above Dortmund and Wolfsburg, even though we were level on points. The Champions League, we did rather better. We did qualify for the next round. We finished in 11th position, 1 point off finishing in the top 8, as we recorded 4 wins against Dinamo, Lazio even, and Bayern Munich and Celtic. We drew with Man City, Brighton and Young Boys, only losing the 1 game to Barcelona. Bayern Munich didn't even qualify. They finished in 27th with one of them losses against us, but they had 2 wins, Celtic and AEK. So on to the knockout rounds, and we played Sparta Prague and we disposed of them at 3-2. The round of 16 we played Barcelona again. This time, despite losing the 2nd leg, we do go through 3-2 overall. And that is where, unfortunately, it ended for us. We lost to Leipzig 3-1 after a first leg stalemate. But it isn't all doom and gloom, however. We do get to the final of the Pokal Cup and we absolutely smash Schalke, who get to the final yet again. Is that the 2nd time in 2 seasons for them? I'm not quite sure, but a 5-0 hammering. 6 seasons, or is this the 7th one now? I can't remember now, but yeah, it's been a long time and we finally pick up a trophy. But 5-0 in the end, quite very dominant display as there's a mix-up at the back, with a further goal coming towards the end of the game. So overall, I cannot complain about this season. We have done wonders. We win the Pokal Cup, we come 2nd in the Bundesliga, and we get all the way to the quarterfinals, only to be let down by one of our own compatriots. So yeah, very unfortunate to not progress, considering Leipzig did finish below us. And a squad of 29-11 for Kusanovic, 25-12 for Karachi, 16-7 for Burgott as well. And then look at these assists as well. 10 for Porro, 12 for Amadio, 17 for Biscoff as well, which is fantastic. And our goalkeeper only conceded 46 in 49 games. We may have to improve a little bit more, but the players that we put in though, Claudio, he looks pretty good now, 20 years old. A lot of pluses in there, isn't there, really? His physicals look amazing, they really do. And we've also got Leo in the back line as well. Some of his stats have gone up. I'm just impressed by the physicals. I mean, they're pretty good. Balance and jumping reach. And heading's not too bad either. And then we've got Nilda as well in the DM position. Again, a lot of stats going up, and physicals and mentals look nice there as well. So going into next season, we do have to try and challenge Bayern Munich, because that is the ultimate goal in the end. So money, nearly 90 million euros to spend. That is superb. So just one player moving out of the squad this season. We lose Mattes Hansen. We brought a couple of DMs in now. He's now 28-29. He's gone to Dortmund, however. Not ideal, but they were willing to pay 23.5 million, so Ed couldn't say no. Added to the budget, we did spend all of our money. And our first signing was from Burnley for 50 million. We've been in Ignacio Gonzalez. Midfielder, looks superb. 21 years old. We are paying 125 grand a week, however. 3 games for us already, and some of them stats really stand out. There's a lot of balance in there. You've got decision making, determination. He's got great first touch, and I think there's only 2 attributes under 10. Next up, for 30 million, we bring in Ajax's Milan Verhoeven. He's going to be our cam player for this season. Bags of potential as well. So, yeah, we're going to have a very good youthful forward line, or team, in fact. And finally, from Dortmund, for 14.5 million, we steal their left back. Quite cheap, 25 grand a week as well, and he looks superb. Bartisaji, he can play there also, so they're going to be battling it out, but we are going to be locking in White in for this season. 18 years old as well. So we are locking in a few players. If we pick our best 11, I think they all disappear maybe. Gonzalez moves to the side. Porro into the cam position. Biscoff comes in. Madio is in there. In fact, there's only the White that doesn't get into the side, I think, and our cam player. So far, so good. We are unbeaten, and straight away we do win the Super Cup. We beat Bayern Munich 1-0. Gonzalez on his competitive debut. 20 minutes in and he scores the winner. So we wait 6-7 seasons for a trophy, and 2 of them come all at once. We beat Ottensen in the Pokal Cup 12-1 in the first round. Drew with Augsburg, beat Mainz, and drew with Leverkusen. So that's really disappointing. They are away from home, but if them draws or turn around from losses, then I can't complain too much. Champions League, we've got Liga, we've got Salzburg, Real Madrid, AC Milan, Crystal Palace, Benfica, Arsenal and Monaco. Again, I'm expecting to go through after last season's escapades, but I'm hoping to have at least got qualification by the time we meet the bigger teams. We are currently lying in 8th position, which I'm not familiar with of late, but we are some 4 points off the leaders Bayern, who are 3 for 3 at the moment, so they're going to take some catching up. Confirmation of the Super Cup win. We've got to Stuttgart in the next round of the Pokal Cup. And where are we predicted to finish this season? Well, we've moved into a 4th position, 25-1. Bayern Munich now 2-5. So let's see if we can gain that 2nd spot once again, or get a little bit closer to Bayern. After a slow start, results started to pick up, including this 4-0 demolition of Wolfsburg. And that was quickly followed by a 5-3 victory over Union Berlin as well, away from home. Draws were being picked up instead of losses, which is a godsend. But if we're going to win the title, we need to do better. And a 1-1 with Bayern with an 88th minute equaliser, I'm quite pleased with. With losses few and far between, a victory over Leverkusen bolstered our position near the top of the table. Leipzig were soundly beaten in a 2-0 victory in our bid to chase down Bayern. And Cologne were nowhere to be seen in this game. And near the end of the season, Kusanovic gives us the victory in a 1-0 win over Bayern. which did give us a second place finish yet again. 6 points behind Bayern Munich this time. We had less losses than them as well, but far too many draws. A few more wins out of them draws would have been all that was required, but we will have to go and do it again. We'll be going into season 9 very shortly, but I'm really pleased though. We are establishing ourselves as a top 4 team now, which is very impressive. The Champions League, we finished a very creditable 14th position with 4 wins. Monaco, Palace, AC and Salzburg drawing with Real Madrid, but losses to Arsenal, Benfica and Liège denied us a top 8 finish. So on to the knockout rounds where we played Valencia and we beat them 4-1. The round of 16 that's where we fell to PSG 4-3 overall, even though we did win our second leg 3-1. But the overall winners, wow, that is a shocker. That is, I don't think that happens very often, that's for sure. But we make it to the final of the Pokal Cup once again, and this time we race to a 3-0 first half lead, which is fantastic, and the game looks like it's won up from that position. There should be no comeback from Darmstadt in the second half, but however, they do come back, and they score 2 quick goals to make it very uncomfortable for us. And the Pokal Club comes back to Essen with their second victory on the bounce to go alongside the Super Cup and a second place finish in the league, which is fantastic. Our squad, 26-10 for Karachi, 17-14 for Gonzalez, Verhoeven 17-10, Kusanovic 17-8, so 4 players 17 and more. 11 assists for Biskov though, Amadio 11 assists for White as well, so our wing backs doing really well, and they are really young as well actually, to be fair. Porro did get some game time, 10 starts, 30 off the bench, 5 on 3. And our goalkeeper, who's been most impressive, 47 conceded in 53, 25 clean sheets. So going into next season, money-wise, 60 million euros to improve our side as we try and make an onslaught for Bayern Munich, as we have come close once again. And we just need to keep winning. Just the 3 losses this season clearly wasn't enough. The draws let us down. So we need to try and either change the formation, which I was thinking about, but after this season, I don't see how I can. We just need to bring in better players or somebody who is going to complement our forward line, I think, as only one player hit 20 goals plus. We say goodbye to 21.5 million euros of talent. Sepenov has gone to HSV for 6.5 million. We also lose Bruckner to Mönchengladbach for up to 5.75. Kudus really hasn't made any impact into the side, and he was complaining about game time, so he's gone to Nantes for 5 million. We also lose Kran as well to Union Berlin, who also pick up Ulrich as well, the DM and Cam players, 3.8 and 2.65 respectively as well. So that added to the budget, gave us a little bit more, and after contract renewals, we still managed to spend a hefty sum. We pay Atletico Nacional 1.9 million for Christian Iverreira, 18 years old, and them stats look obscene as much as what we paid for him as well. There's nothing but profit on this young lad, and look at that, finishing 16, dribbling the first up, is matching it as well. He's got good fitness, he's really quick. Majority of his stats are well above what they should be for that age. From Colo Colo for 3.2 million, we bring in Juan Carlos Huerto, goalkeeper, lots of potential, a really good backup outfield to have to Stefanovic, where there was a lot of interest as we renewed his contract and gave him a hefty release clause. 65 million was just not going to be enough, so we increased that. But Huerto comes in as a backup, he's quite happy to do so. Hopefully he'll get some game time because he's worth up to 42 million as well. From Dortmund for 35 million, we bring in a centre-back option, Fabian Alphas. Again, bags of potential, 18 years old, another young player to have alongside Reeks as well. Alphas comes from Dortmund, so it's a pretty good steal as well. From Juventus for 25 million, we're bringing Vladimir Sar, a right back, 21 years old, bags of potential, physicals look really good, same with his mentals, and he can also cross the ball. And finally from Ufright for 15 million, we're bringing Dejan Nestrovovic, a cam player, play back up to Verhoeven as well, or Porro. So we've got some really good youngsters, and he's 20 years old. Physicals, mentals, and his technicals look absolutely amazing actually. It's the first time really I've really looked at them. He's got got good finishing, first touch, he's got good free kick taking, he can pass the ball. I mean, and he's got 20 flair. Says it all, really. So we're not going to be locking anybody in this season. Our best 11 literally picks itself, and it looks pretty solid. A lot of interest for Gonzalez as well, who's now, I think, almost a 5-star, or he might be a 5-star already with that injury, but hopefully he'll come out of it okay. And we've done remarkably well with friendlies and competitive. Super Cup, we've won again. Bayern Munich, this time on penalties. Gonzalez and Bergot getting the goals. We started our defence of the Pokal with an 8-0 thrashing. Then we beat Cologne, Bayern again, this time away from home, and Union Berlin in the league. Atletico Madrid, Sturm Graz, Real Madrid, Celtic, Slavia Prague, Dortmund and Inter Milan make up the teams that we will be playing in the Champions League. And we are top of the table. 3 for 3 makes a change with Bayern Munich all the way down in 12th. They've lost 2 games already. Ourselves and Werder. Amazing. And we are predicted to finish around about 24th in the Champions League. And we've got Cologne in the next round of the Pokal. And season preview, Caesars 9-1 favourites, second in the table behind Bayern Munich. That is an absolute win for us. So let's jump straight into season 9 and let's see if we can pull off a madness this season. After 3 months of the season, a 4-2 away victory at Leverkusen sees us with 7 wins and 2 draws, giving us a lead at the top of the table. But Dortmund inflict our first defeat of the season, 2-1. And not long after, Schalke did the same to us, 3-0 this time away from home. But we inflict another defeat on Bayern, giving us our double over them this season in a fantastic 3-1 home win. And Dortmund were soundly beaten as well at home, 3-0. Getting revenge from our last defeat, which meant we did leave the Bundesliga title, and in convincing fashion as well. 12 points clear of Bayern Munich, who were mid-table at one point during the season and somehow fought their way back up to the top, but never really troubling us in the end. 2 defeats to ourselves and Wolfsburg and a couple of other teams, but we lost 4 games in the end. Werder, Hoffenheim, Schalke and Dortmund, all away from home thankfully. And Connor White leads the average ratings together with Echeverria, our new signing up top. He also gets the golden boot for this season with 25 goals. White and Biscoff, most assists. Echeverria as well, he gets most man of the match awards. Stefanovic, 14 clean sheets, the golden glove winner as well. White gets the most tackles in the 90 minutes. Amadio, most interceptions in the 90 minutes as well. So we have done remarkably well this season. And to go alongside the Bundesliga, we take the Pokal Cup once again. I think that's a hat-trick of wins now in the Pokal Cup, which is absolutely phenomenal. We raced into a 2-0 lead, I think, in a 4-2 victory over our old rivals Bayern Munich, the 3rd time we've beaten them at this season, which we've just totally destroyed him. Is that 3-4-0 now? I don't know, but Bayern Munich do come into it in the second half with Couto netting one of them. I think that might have been 3-1. We do get a 4th goal just about here, with Echeverria getting the goal. I just can't pronounce his name. I do apologise, but it's unfortunate. But he's a fantastic player. In fact, I think this is 4-2 now. The Champions League, we finished in 9th position with 5 wins. Dortmund, Slavia Prague, Celtic, Marseille and Sturm Graz all being battered. It's only Celtic, I think that was close. 2-1. We drew with Real Madrid and lost to Inter and Atletico. But 28 goals in 8 games is absolutely phenomenal at this level. So into the knockout rounds where we played Leipzig and we beat them 3-0. Round of 16, we beat Atletico Madrid 5-3 over the 2 legs. Quarters, we played Rangers and beat them comfortably 4-1. And would you just look at that as well. 5-2 winners over Real Madrid after a 0-0 away draw. That is incredible. We play Man City in the final now, who disposed of Real Hispalis 9-2. Goodness me. Feel sorry for the Spanish lads. And here we are in the final of the Champions League. What a season this has been. We go behind to an early goal, but we do fight our way back into the game with Karachi getting the equaliser. What a fantastic ball that was. Straight over the top, and then I think we go 2-1 up, maybe. I think it was. It was again, same player, same outcome once again, 2-1 up. And then Man City get a very late equaliser, 86th minute, to take the game into extra time. In fact, it went into penalties in the end. Gonzalez puts the first one away. Holland misses, which is unbelievable. Biscoff making it 2-0. Then Hannibal puts his away. And then a couple of further goals. And Cheriveria, I still can't pronounce his name. Another miss. Unbelievable scenes. But a 2-2 draw, a 4-1 win on penalties. And we win the Champions League. This is insane. This wasn't the deal. This was just to win the Bundesliga. But we've just gone and won 4 trophies this season. That's incredible. We have built such a fantastic, phenomenal side. It's just scary what these lads can do now. 9 seasons in and we've just cleared shop. That is just, wow. That's incredible. From Bundesliga 3 and to finish top of the world again. This is a marvellous stuff. So looking at the squad, which looks absolutely phenomenal, and it looks like everybody's played a part this season, which is always good to see. Echeverria, he gets 43 goals and 14 assists in 54. Fantastic. 32 and 17 for Karachi as well. 26 and 4 for Harold, who's out on loan. He's looking pretty good as well. But let's just have a look at the Colombian 19-year-old. Look at them stats. They're just unbelievable. At 18, well 19 now. And Rafael as well. Again, another class player. Again, another regen. But them stats look just amazing, don't they? 2 youngsters up top that can put the ball in the net. 75 goals between them. That's mad. Bergot as well, 22 and 5. We've also got Gonzalez, 12 and 12. Biscoff, I think he's been with us from the beginning, I think maybe. I like to think he has. Well, we bought him earlier on while we were in Bundesliga 2 for 175,000 euros, and he's worth, well, it's only 5.4 now, which I find very hard to believe. But again, another good player. Connor White, 7 and 21 assists. Wow. 22 assists for Biscoff, actually, to be fair. 12 assists for Amadio as well. And a goalkeeper only conceded 49 and 53. Did our other goalkeeper play? Huerta. 9 and 5 with 3 clean sheets. I mean, that is a really, really stacked side at an average age of 23. This file save will be available to you on Ko-fi.com. I'll leave the link down in the description if you so wish, and there'll be other saves on there as well if you want to have a look as well. But you will be inheriting this young side. I really need to look into the more Southern American teams and countries in there, because the players that come out of there, like Christian, the Colombian, wow, and what a remarkable player he is, really, to be fair. In fact, has he actually gone up since we've actually had him? So let's have a quick look. I think we only had him for the 1 season, I think. Yeah, 25 and 33. So if we just have a look at his progress, he must have gone up some just this season alone. He has. Quite a few things have gone up already just in that 1 season. Hate to think what it'd be like in like a few seasons' time. So as well as obtaining this file save and this marvellous team, you will be given 97, nearly 98 million euros to go and spend some more money on revamping the squad if you so wish, or just adding a couple of players to dominate the Bundesliga once again. Highest gate receipts was a 1.26 million against Stuttgart in the Pokal second round. Biggest win, 12-1. Highest scoring match was that same game, and the league match was a 10-1 back in 1972. Christian, he got to the most league goals by player in a season. Eduardo, 7.45. Nobody's beaten his highest average rating when we had him. In fact, how has he done? Because he did go to Brentford for 2.5 mil and didn't really do much, but he has been playing his heart out in the UAE, which I'm really pleased for him, because he's a really, really good player, actually, I feel. He's now 28 years old, and some of them stats look really good. Only 12 million. I would have been inclined to bring him back, actually, to be fair. We've got most clean sheets by goalkeeper, Stefanovic, 26. Christian gets most player of the match awards, and Biscoff most assists as well, which is fantastic stuff as well. I feel like he's been with us for a while. We've had 7 matches without conceding a goal, which is a pretty good sequence to have. Transfers, Gonzalez, the 50 million euros in 2030 was our highest transfer fee paid. The highest transfer fee received was for Lopez, of course, the young lad, 65 million euros. And how is he doing? He's now 24 years old, worth 94 million. He looks superb, and he hasn't left Bournemouth. He stayed with them after that big money move, after they activated his release clause, which we didn't make that mistake afterwards. Again, another player I would have back in a heartbeat. So that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I know it's been a long video, 9 seasons until we've got what we wanted, and that was the Bundesliga. But we did win a host of other trophies, including a quadruple in the end, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you again on the next one.